Hello, dear subscribers and visitors of my channel. Summer is underway, and I continue knitting summer booties for babies. Today I want to present a model for a boy in two colors, blue and white. There's a white button. Here's a cute sole. If you like this model, knit with me. To make these booties, I'll need two colors of yarn. Blue yarn. This will be the main color, as the sole is the very beginning of the knitting, while the middle and the entire heel are dark blue. The yarn is 100% cotton, 50 grams, 33 meters. The yarn is thin, so I'll be knitting with 3 strands. To brighten up the booties and make them less dark, I added white. I didn't have white of the same quality, so I used this yarn. But it also turned out a little thin, as it has a much weaker twist than the blue yarn. And I added one more strand. I'll be knitting with a number 2 crochet hook. I'll need scissors and a needle. I use this needle to mark the center. Like this. To place the marker exactly in the center. But I'll need another needle to sew on the button. The insole interlayer. This interlayer is from the packaging. I didn't buy it. I found it at home, washed it, and used it as an interlayer. It's very thin, bends well, and won't ruin the wear in items or cut the threads. I think it will turn out great. I'll need markers, 2 markers to mark the front of the booties, and a button. The button looks a little funny and unusual from the white side, because this side is basically the front, but since mine is white, I made the button white. Unfortunately, I couldn't find another button. If you have any other cute accessories, you can make just that. So, let's get started. I start knitting the booties from the sole. I already have the sole ready. It's made, knitted from 2 soles. The first sole, the upper one, is knitted with the side. The side is knitted along the front side, along the front side. The second sole is without a side. And plus an interlayer. This is the interlayer that I already showed you. It's very soft, bends very well. I think the downside is that it's shiny, so I put it on the inside, from the baby's sole, with the shiny side, and I put the matte side on the outside. This is what it looks like. And I connected the soles with white piping. I knitted the white card along the sole with slip stitches. There are 2 options. There is the option that I made. And there is an option where you can make slip stitches from this side. Then the stitches will be here. This will look just as beautiful. But I'll do it like this and continue the sole and the top of the booty exactly like this, with the slip stitches facing up. The sole is knitted with 17 chain stitches. My last row consists of 72 stitches per centimeter, approximately 11 centimeters. That's exactly 11 centimeters for the sole. I've already marked the front of the booty with a marker. How do I do it? I do it. You can take a knitting needle, or you can take a needle. I have a long needle. If you don't have a long needle, you can do it with a thin needle. Pull it through like this, place the needle right in the middle. And you'll have the center side, the center loop, marked with thread. Since there's an even number of loops, this loop will be for either this side or this side. Since I'm working on the front part, there will be 42 loops, an even number of loops. So I either count 21 stitches from this side or I count 21 stitches from this side. And then I'll have a total of 42 stitches from marker to marker. That's how I do it. You can leave this needle. And when you're knitting, starting the front part of the booty, this part in blue, you can count 4 stitches in each direction from this yarn. I do it another way. I measure out 42 stitches so that they are equidistant from each other, knowing that I have 8 center stitches. 8 stitches in the middle, that means there will be 4. I subtract 4 from 21. And this remainder, which I will have 21 to 4, will be 17 stitches. I start knitting from the 18th stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1 0, 1 1, 1 2, 1 3, 1 4, 1 5, 1 6, 1 7. Here from the 18th loop I start knitting from this loop. 17 plus 4 equals 21. I will not knit for the full loop, but only for the back part. In order to form such a welt, the stripe looks beautiful. I really liked it. I decided to do it this way. You can also knit for the full loop. The 18th loop. I start knitting from the 18th loop in 3 threads. First I fasten and then knit again from this loop. 1, 2, 3, 4 tails simultaneously knit into the fabric. 5 5, 6, 7, and 8. In order to be sure that I have this front part, this first toe in blue is exactly in the middle, I count from the other side. And I should also get 17 air loops. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 1 0 1 1 1 2 1 3 1 4 1 5 1 6 1 7. I am exactly in the middle, the lifting loop. I turn the knitting and continue knitting 8 single crochets in height. Look at what I get. 2 rows are already done, and I need to knit 4. Here are 2 more rows in height. We will meet when 4 rows are knitted. I knitted the first front toe in dark blue. I cut the thread, hid the tails. And now I will start the white stripes. I will start from the 4th loop. 1 2 3. I skip 3 loops and in the same way I take the hook behind the back wall like this. And the first thing I will do is knit 4 air loops. 1 2 3 4. And then I will start picking up these loops that I have. But I will not pick them up by the full loop, not in this way, so that I do not want to form teeth. If I knit like this, then I will form teeth. And I want to make sure that I have a clear separation. You see what teeth have turned out. And I want to have a clear separation of white and blue, so I will take them by the back part like this. One, 2, 3, 4 4, 5. I need to pick up all the threads. 6, 7, and 8. Here, look. You see, there are no teeth, because I took them by the back part and thereby this part, it is covered by this strip of the front one. I continue knitting. 4 chain stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4. In the same way, I skip 1, 2, 3 here. From the 4th loop, by the back part, a slip stitch plus the slip stitch next to it. I turn the knitting and will knit this chain completely. I'll be knitting 4 single crochet stitches all the way around. And from this loop, I'll be knitting 1 additional loop. Like this. First. And then knitting. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I start knitting. If this seemed complicated to anyone, there's another option where you can knit 2 loops from this first loop, and then you'll have an increase. It doesn't matter whether there will be jumpers on this side or jumpers on that side, if that's too difficult for anyone. From this row, I'll be adding 1 loop. I also knit 8 loops. I'll be knitting 4 loops. Where did I get it? 1, 2, I pick up this thread and knit it in the same way. A small difficulty is that the sole doesn't bend as much anymore. It's elastic, but it doesn't bend as well as I'd like. That's why there are some difficulties here. Slip stitch. Look, I started knitting the first white stripe. Now, in each row, I will add 1 loop. I made a slip stitch. I turn the knitting and from the same loop I start adding another loop. 1, 2, and so on. I will now have 5 loops on each side and 8 in the middle. I need to knit 6 rows. This was the first, second. This is the 3rd row. I need to knit 6 rows on each side, adding 1 loop. Okay, we finish knitting this side. Here it is, a small loop, very thin. We take it. The first slip stitch. And the second slip stitch. Now I will take 2 slip stitches. I turn the knitting and add from the second loop. If in the first row I added from the very beginning in this row and from the very beginning in this one, then now from the second loop I will add 1 loop in each row. Like this. This is already the 4th row. I need to knit 6 rows with white thread. After I finish 6 rows, I should have 18 stitches in my work. We'll meet when 6 rows have been knitted with white thread. So, I've knitted a white stripe. I have 18 single crochet stitches left or made. When I started knitting, I had the middle 8 and was adding 4. This time I already had 16. I only added 2 stitches in total for this stripe. This means I now have 5 stitches on each side instead of 4, and the middle 8. I've finished knitting. I'm cutting the thread. I don't need the white one yet. You can fasten it off right away so it doesn't unravel. Just baste it, so to speak, so it doesn't unravel. And I continue knitting. The next step will be this bridge, which will consist of only 2 rows. Here it is, the little blue stripe. As I already said, 18 stitches in my work. There are 10 loops left in the center 8. 5 loops for each section. So, I'll start knitting from the 6th loop now. I'll knit the back part in the same way so that I don't have any teeth. If you start knitting with teeth from the very beginning, then continue knitting always so that your teeth look more aesthetically pleasing everywhere. Since I started knitting a strict limit between stripes, I will also continue knitting the next stripe. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Here it is, this very loop. I check the back wall in the same way. I start knitting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the 6th loop. I only need to knit 2. Columns, 2 rows of single crochets. I fasten the thread and knit the first loop from the same loop. 1, 2, 3, 4, street, 6, 7, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 5 loops left on the other side. I am exactly in the middle. Turning loop. I turn the knitting. And knit all 8 loops that I am working with single crochets. I knit, pull the thread. I do not make a knot so that it is not noticeable. I pull the thread. Cut it. Like this, I pull and fasten it. Now all the loops are visible. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All the loops are visible. And like this, I pick up first from the side, and then like this. You can do it like this, you can do it in the fabric. The main thing is that it does not unravel. This is the most important criterion for successful knitting, so that the knitting does not unravel. So, I knit a white stripe, 2 jumpers, one short, the other longer. And now I will knit the next stripe, blue. Now, pay attention, since there will already be one color here, then, accordingly, I will not knit behind the back lobe. I will knit as usual, behind the full loop. Pick up behind the full loop. And only here, when I switch back to the white color, I will again need to be careful to pick up not behind the full loop, but behind the half loop, behind the back lobe. So, I will begin. I have 18 loops in work, so at the end of knitting I should have 24 loops. Therefore, in the process of knitting the blue stripe, I need to add a few more loops. I will knit, skipping 2 loops from the third. First, I will pick up 6 chain stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I pick up behind the full loop, since it is the same color. 1, 2, 6 chain stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I skip 2 loops and with the third I insert the hook into the third also through the back part like this. 1 slip loop. And the second slip loop. Look, I picked up 6 air loops on each side and am moving on to the next, last blue stripe. I now have 6 plus 6 12 and plus 8 20 loops in work. Before the end, before the end of the work, before the marker, I need to add 4 more loops. We will meet when I knit the blue stripe to the end, before the markers. So, I should have 8 left on each side. I will start knitting from the 9th loop. Look here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I will start knitting from this loop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, I made a mistake. This is the 9th loop. There should be 8 on this side and 8 on this side. I start knitting 8 single crochets through the back wall. I fasten the loop and from the same loop I knit 1 more full loop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. The last loop. Look, the piping is clearly visible again and the clear distinction between the two colors, because this is not knitted for a full loop. If you knit for a full loop, there will be teeth. I turn the turning loop, turn the knitting and also knit 8 loops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. Turn the knitting loop. I turn the knitting and from this row, this is the third row, I will decrease 1 loop on each side. A little, so to speak, to narrow the strap. I'm just going to skip the first and last stitch and the one before last. The first and the one before last. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I skip the one before last, and knit the 6th stitch last. I have 6 stitches in work. I've already knitted 3 rows. I need to knit, starting from the beginning of the blue end, or rather, the blue of the blue stripe. I need to knit 16 rows high. I've already knitted 3 rows, and I still have 13 rows to knit. We'll meet when the strap is knitted. I've knitted 16 rows high. I had 6 single crochet stitches in work. I cut the thread so that I can sew on this strap later. I'm now going to tie my booty along the edge here, and then I'll start working on the back of the booty. I'll tie it from the outside, from the front side, with slip stitches. It's very simple. There are no difficulties at all. Just like this. To freshen up the booty a little, I added more white. Like this. I'll tie my strap all the way around on both sides, come back from this side, sew this strap on and show you the result before we start knitting the back of the booty. Well, the front of the booty is ready. The elastic is ready. I sewed it on, bending only where 6 loops were, so that it would be just right. These parts were even. You can sew it lower, higher, as you like, depending on how thick you want this strap to be. I didn't want it to be very thin, but just under the space I left for this strap, you can make it looser. So, the front is ready. Now let's start knitting the back of the booty. The back of the booty. The back of the booty will start with the 4th loop. But first, I'll do 2 shortened rows. Here's my first shortened row. Look, the first shortened row. And here's my second shortened row. This is to raise the heel so that it's level with the front. See? So, I'll start knitting the heel and the heel part together with the 4th loop, plus the shortened loop. That's 3 more loops. This means I'll start knitting with the 7th loop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Here, I'll start knitting the first shortened row with the 7th loop. I don't count the number of loops, I'm just using my best estimate. Now I'll start on the front. What's the 7th loop? The first loop is a reinforcing loop. And I'll knit the following loops with single crochets and tie in the tail. Like this, you can see it here. I'll finish so that I have the same number of loops left on this side. So, in parallel, I started from the 7th loop. This means that I should also have 6 loops on this side. I make this last loop a slip stitch so that the subsequent knitting is not a step for me, but a sloping hill. I cut the thread and immediately fasten it because it gets in the way. I just simply pick it up so that it does not stretch, so that I can knit this thread with it later. I have the first shortened row ready. I will start the second shortened row from the wrong side so as not to spoil the pattern, so that I have these teeth from the very bottom to the very top, so that I have, so to speak, the same pattern. Therefore, I indent 3 loops somewhere. 3 loops. 1, 2, 3, and I also start from the wrong side to knit a shortened row. I knitted the second shortened row. Look how it turns out from the side. I also cut the thread. I tuck it in a little so that later on I can knit the next tails, the long tails, just 2 loops. And then I'll try to knit this thread. Now I'll start with the 4th loop in order to knit this section completely. Here I will knit it. 2, 4, 6, 8, 8 rows in height. I start knitting with the 4th loop. 1, 2, 3 from the 4th. Now we'll tuck this tail in. I fasten the loop and start knitting the loop again from the same loop. It's a little difficult for me because my threads are connected from 3 thin threads, and they all need to be picked up. Now I've reached the fastening loop. Since it's very small, I pick it up from the previous row and then the next loop from the shortened row. Now I'll show you how it looks. Look, right now you can clearly see that there are more rows here than here because we made shortened rows here. So this trapezoid is very visible. But during the rise process, when we knit more rows of this, these two rows of connecting, shortened rows, or rather, they will smooth out and will not be visible. The heel will rise, but it will not be visible. It will be flush with the front piece. So, I need to knit 8 rows of single crochet back and forth. We will meet when the single crochets for 8 rows are finished. So, I have knitted, not counting the 2 shortened rows, 8 rows high. Now I will form the strap. I have already knitted this strap on the left side. I will show you how it will look on the left side. So, if I knit on the left side for the first time, in this direction, I continue to cast on 31 loops. Like this. 1, 2, 3 and so on. 31 loops. And then I will go back. Since mine is uneven on both sides. And here is also convex, like the strap here, so I need to pick up 3 loops here. So, if I knit on the left side, I will continue 31 loops and go back. And I will tie 3 loops to this side. Like this. 1, 2, 3. And cut the thread. I will go back, pick up this thread, hide the tail and continue knitting. The strap is knitted when on the left side. I am knitting on the right side, since I have already knitted on the left. I will leave this open for now, make an elongated loop and will cast on 31 loops from this side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Since I need to have 31 loops in work, and I will cut off this strap, this chain stitch, then I need one more extra loop. I pull the thread. Cut. Tighten. Now on this side I will form 3 loops. 1, 2, 3. I turn the knitting. And begin to collect all these loops. Look here. But since my knitting is turning here, I do not break the thread, then on this side I need to knit not 3 loops, but 2, because all the loops will be in my work. Well, if you want, you can make the strap a little longer. This protrusion here is short, you see, so I need to have 2 loops in my work. You see, it will increase as I knit the strap. So, I will knit. I'll take these remaining threads, knit them, and knit back and forth. The strap, you can choose the thickness of the strap yourself. I have one, not counting the chain stitches, 1 row, I returned 3 rows. My strap consists of 5 rows. Now I'll knit the strap completely and show the result when the strap is knitted. So, I knitted the strap to the end. I chose the height myself. I focused on this very hole, this passage, so that it was not loose and at the same time not too thick. I knitted 2 loops. The loops are knitted very simply. I focused on 10 loops from the end. I skipped 3 loops, made 3 chain loops, knitted 2 loops with a single crochet. 3 chain loops. 2 single crochets. These are the 2 loops I got. I went back, I simply knitted these loops with chain loops. Here's how I did it. Here's how we did it, using this technique. You can adjust the width yourself. Naturally, I wanted the loops to be in the middle, equidistant from the edges, but that's your decision. You can make it thinner, or you can make the strap higher. Now all I have to do is crochet the booty. I've already marked with white thread where I'll thicken it, so to speak, make it a little higher, so that there's also a little more white on the heel side. It's very easy to do. I insert the hook and make slip stitches from the front side. I'll knit the entire edge with the slip stitches. Like this. It's very easy to do. It will then tighten like this. I knit to my marker, to the white thread, using slip stitches. And now I'll shape the back part a little higher, a little wider with white. To do this, I grab the back part and knit a single crochet. So I'm going to make 10 loops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10. Look here. And now I'm switching to slip stitches again. Look how I'm doing it. So that these loops don't stretch out later and while wearing them, I'll make them with slip stitches in the same way later, strengthen them with slip stitches. I did it exactly the same way here, so it looks even. Thicker, so to speak, more noticeable, because the piping, you see, is so vague and not so noticeable. But if I strengthen them, these loops, they will look just as good. I need to do this all the way in the round. We'll meet up to this point when the top edge is completely tied to this point of the back booty, the back part. Well, I've tied my entire strap and side panels to the end. Now I'll strengthen this back part, where I knitted with single crochets. You can hook it onto this last one or the one before last. You can choose. It doesn't matter. And in exactly the same way, we strengthen the loops with slip stitches. It's done very quickly. Like this. Look, this will all be hidden later. All these tails will be hidden. I'll bring it out to this side, to the wrong side, so that I can hide it from the wrong side. Look, you see, the back is reinforced. At the same time, this slip stitch provides an even greater contrast. A white, unblemished color. Look what I've got. I'll hide the tails after I'm done with all the work. Now I'll reinsert the tab inside. The booty is almost ready. Only small details remain. This is to remove all the tails and sew on a button. This one. I sew it on, making it with pins so that it runs freely. Yes, on the other side it's a little noticeable that it's not white, but when the booties are fastened, only the white part will be visible. And you can imagine, maybe it's a teddy bear, or someone, or a little sheep, or something. I'll hide the tails, sew on a button, and show you the finished pair. I sewed on the button, removed all the unnecessary threads, cut them, and hid them. And here's a finished, cute pair of sandals for a baby. If you like this video, knit for your children and make them happy. I wish you good health, great yarn, and easy stitches. Until next time. Goodbye.